Please subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot and is completely free. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. Joined by Coach Harris once again. It's been a while, man. It's good to see you. So I'm excited to be talking about your career today. Let's start it off with your high school, what town you grew up in, what state and everything, and then go from there.
Okay, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, and I went to Omaha Central High School, graduated in 1977.
So with your high school and everything, you had a lot of different experiences. How did those experiences lead you to getting where you ended up in life?
Well, a lot of the experiences I had that helped me to get to where I am in life is I grew up on the near north side in Nebraska. I had a lot of experiences growing up within the neighborhood. There's a documentary that's out there. It's called 24th and Glory, and it has information on all the stars that grew up in the area that I grew up in. Gil Sayers, who was a football player for the Chicago Bears, his brother Roger, these are all icons in the neighborhood that I grew up in. Bob Gibson, I went to school with his daughter at Kellum grade school when I was grade school. Bob Gibson was the World Series starting pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. And they won the World Series in 1968. It was pretty cool when I was in grade school when he came back and they did the parades. And Bob Gibson, in the rec league that I used to go to, when we played basketball games in the rec league, it was pretty cool that Bob Gibson would come back and referee some of those games. To have a World Series starting pitcher, right from your own hometown, coming back and giving back to the community. Well, he actually went to Kellum School. That's the grade school that I went to. Also, the former Heisman Trophy winner, Johnny Rogers, he also attended the grade school that I went to, and he went to Tech High, which is the high school that the students that left Kellum would go through. That's when the technical high school would take students in from the 7th grade to the 12th. Now, I didn't go to technical high. I attended Horseman Junior High. I actually used to walk over 2 miles every day in the snow from my house at the 900 block all the way to the 3900 block of Omaha, Nebraska, which is where Horseman Junior High was. But overall, I would have to say that the experience, as well as all of the stars that came out of the area that I grew up in, I mentioned a few. There's Bob Boozer. He was 7 foot tall, and he was a center for the Chicago Bulls in the NBA. You have Ron Boone, who was one of the top scorers for the ABA, the American Basketball Association, before they joined the NBA, and he wound up playing for the, now as we know him, the Utah Jazz. Let me see who else am I forgetting. There's several professional athletes that came out of the area or my neighborhood that I grew up, the neighborhood that I grew up in.
Okay. So some of the challenges that you had growing up, just talk about that for a minute.
Some of the challenges growing up was some of the riots that occurred in the late 60s and the early 70s. Things weren't as easy as they could have been growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up in. I know that there wasn't that many black police officers working in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and I happened to be one of the first African American police officers that was hired, and that was due to a consent decree. And I was hired in March of 1982, but there was another class that was hired before me, and a lot of the African American officers in that class, they fell out, they didn't make it. And the word was there's not many qualified African Americans that were that should have been hired in the police department. I know that was the class before me. A lot of them didn't make it, but everyone in my class did that was hired. It was a class of 20 officers, and that class that I was hired in March of '82, there were 8 African Americans that were hired into that particular class, but obviously I had an experience before then. I got my work experience in management working at McDonald's, which is only about a block from my house. I would open the store up at 6 in the morning and I would work all day there. Eventually I was hired as a manager at McDonald's, and I got a lot of my management experience from there. So I had to work very hard in order to achieve the things that I achieved at a young age. And I got that work ethic from my mom, who had 9 of us. And when she got divorced from my father, they were married for 27 years. She went back to school. She got her GED because she didn't finish high school because she got married at a very young age. And after she got that, she obtained her master's degree at the University of Nebraska in Omaha. And while she was doing that, there were some professors that said to her, "Lady, you need to go home and take care of your kids. You shouldn't be here." They discouraged her every step of the way. But yet she prevailed, and she went on and got that bachelor's degree. She then continued on and earned her master's of education, and she wound up teaching for 26 years. And she retired as a teacher through the Omaha, Nebraska school system. And I would have to say that's probably one of the reasons why I eventually wound up becoming a teacher myself many years later. But that was after several different careers that I've held. I've done a lot. You know, I mentioned earlier that I went to McDonald's school and got that degree in hamburgerology. I tell you, you learn how to run a business if you go through the McDonald's program, and that was 1979 when I finished that program, and it was very good program.
That's all incredible stuff when you talk about your mother and everything. For your different careers, I want to talk to you about being a police officer for a little bit and what motivated you to pursue that, as well as the other careers you held during that time.
Well, what motivated me to pursue being a police officer, I've always been the type of person that wanted to give a hand and help people. And that's one of the reasons why I'm involved in coaching today. There's a lot of things that you can do that are really good when you're a law enforcement officer. It's not just about making arrests and helping people. I mean, you actually, in that job, you save lives. And I feel that all police officers out there, they should be honored and respected for the work that they do. It's not an easy job. It really isn't. And it was an interesting experience. It wasn't a goal. It was a job that was available. And I just wanted to do something to make a difference. And that opportunity came available, and I took it. But before I was a police officer, I was a manager at McDonald's. I worked all through my senior year of high school while I played basketball. I would leave school at noon when I was a senior because I got out early, and I would go right to McDonald's and work, and that's when I was in high school. And again, I played basketball in high school. I didn't start playing until the 10th grade. Football was my love because of Nebraska Cornhuskers. And, it's kind of funny. The other day I ran into a gentleman. He's a selectman in New Hampshire. He had on a Nebraska Cornhuskers shirt. His name was Jess. I know he's a selectman out of the Auburn area. And we got to talking about Nebraska football, Johnny Rogers. I said, Johnny Rogers. He said, "Oh, it's Johnny the Jet." And man, what is his name? I wish I could remember his last name, but I know if we Googled and looked him up, we can find him, because I told him I was the coach in NHTI, and he says, do you know Mike Moffitt? And I said, yeah, he was from here. So apparently he's really good friends with Mike Moffitt. And I told him to tell Mike that I said hello. But it was pretty interesting to run into a politician here in New Hampshire that was wearing a Nebraska hoodie. And apparently he's still a big fan. And I talked about Nebraska over the past 20 years. They haven't won much at all, but they were always number one, and they always turned out very, very successful programs. And
Big Ten's tough to compete in.
the Big Ten's tough to compete in, but who would think that Nebraska would wind up not winning many games? I was just used to all the winning, and winning is great, and it's nice to have that feeling. But I do know that it takes the right work and the right effort in order to maintain or to build winning programs. I do know that.
They're not having the worst year this year. They got a pretty good quarterback.
The one that looks like
Patrick
Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, he looks like it, but he's not Patrick.
All right, so moving on. So talking about, seeing this guy with a Nebraska shirt in New Hampshire. How'd you go yourself from Nebraska to New Hampshire?
Well, my wife, she left Omaha. As a matter of fact, I met her at McDonald's when I worked there, and they moved here. The family moved here, and that's how I wound up coming to New Hampshire, is because I moved here to be with her. So that's how I wound up being here.
That's sweet. So, that's a thing that you have to decide to do. Was there any challenges in making that decision?
Not really. When you're young, and it's challenging to leave a place that you're used to. But all I have to say is everything does happen for a reason, and I just say it was in the cards for me to be where I am, and I'm here. And one thing I always say is, you need to do the best you can with what you have where you are. And I did all those things. I did the best I could with what I had where I was very successful where I came from. And I moved here, and I'm really glad that I did, because I was able to achieve a lot here educationally. Just like today, I'm coaching, I'm making a difference in young people's lives, and that's just something that I feel is important. If you can make a difference in people's lives. I had a radio show the other day of a young man that is he's on a scholarship, a full ride scholarship at Franklin Pierce. I recruited him to come here at NHTI, and he had a lot of success here at NHTI. He went on to a couple of colleges, and now he's working on his master's degree in business leadership at Franklin Pierce College, which is pretty impressive. He's got his last year there. His name is Sire Miller, and I'm very proud of him. He's one of a dozen or more young men that were able to leave NHTI and move on in their careers and become successful at other colleges and universities and obtain scholarships. I mean, I'm really proud of those success stories, and that's one of the things that NHTI can bring to student athletes that come here. So this is a school that I don't think people should really sleep on, especially those that live in this area. That's something that I talked about last year.
Yep,
When
I
I
remember.
spoke with the coaches there. I mean, when you have a gym in your backyard, um, you should really take advantage of it and embrace it. I mean, there's wonderful opportunities here at this school, and you're taking classes here right now
Yeah.
yourself, aren't you? Yes, this is a really great school and a great opportunity for people. It's in your backyard. Take advantage of it.
All right, so I want to segue to something a little different here. I know you touched on it briefly, like your wife and everything. So I know you have a granddaughter, and family is something that's really big for you. So if you could mention that for a little bit.
I'm really glad you asked about her. This summer I was in Inglewood, California. My granddaughter got a call from Debbie Allen, invited to the Debbie Allen Academy, and I went out to California. I was there for 3 weeks, and we traveled from there to Chicago. But in California, wow, what an experience. That was a pretty intense program. My granddaughter, she's Nova Star is what we call her. Her name is Sonova Napoleon. She's named after her great grandmother and her great great grandmother, Nova Jules Napoleon. And I tell you, I'm so impressed with her. When she was out in California, I mean, they went from 8 in the morning till 5, 6, dancing, preparing for the performance of the Wiz. And they did that for a whole month. And Diana Ross and the Supremes, but everybody knows Diana. Her granddaughter, she was also in the cast, or in the Debbie Allen Academy. They worked very, very hard, and the performance was a wonderful performance, and it was pretty cool. I'm sitting there in the audience, and Diana's sitting right behind me, and she was there with her son Evan, and Evan is married to Ashley Simpson. So Ashley Simpson was sitting next to Diana. I mean, the funny part about it is when I took a picture, my daughter said, "Oh, you got Ashley." I'm like, "Who?" She said, "Ashley." I said, "Who's that?" She said, "Ashley Simpson." I'm like, I thought Jessica, because Ashley's Jessica's sister. But either way, I tell you, that was a wonderful experience being out there, and the things that Debbie talked about. There was a dedication to Kobe Bryant, because Kobe and Debbie, they're pretty close. Kobe played on, obviously, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
With Norm Nixon, who is Debbie Allen's husband. And I got an opportunity to speak with Norm Nixon, because Norm also played on the same team with Mike McGee. Mike McGee is out of Omaha, Nebraska, and he went to Omaha North. I got to hold Mike McGee in high school. I started for Omaha Central, and he was a starter for North. Mike McGee was the all-time leading scorer for Michigan in the Big Ten. Eventually, I think it was Glenn Rice wound up beating Mike McGee's scoring record in the Big Ten, and that was the late '80s. But Mike, he was drafted by the Lakers in the first round when he graduated from Michigan in 1981. When I was a senior at Omaha Central, I got to hold him. And my high school coach he's still alive, he's in his 80s. He wrote to me on Facebook. He says he'll never forget how I was all over Mike McGee, literally in his shirt. I mean, it's nice that we won regular season, and then we wound up beating them. The score was 85-81. We beat them in the district championship, which qualified my team to go to the States. Their team got a bid to go to States. But one thing that I stated to Norm Nixon, because he mentioned to me when I talked to him in California, he said, "I bet he dropped 50 points on your head." Yeah, and it was pretty funny. And I said to Norm, Norm, I gave him his props. I says, I gave Mike McGee his props. He's got his points. He averaged 38 points a game in high school. He was a scoring machine. And I says, Norm, yeah, Mike got his points. I said, did you know one of the games, he was outscored by one of my teammates. And that was the game that we won. Well, actually, we won both of them. And I said, I'll give Mike all due respect. I says, Norm, Mike, he earned 2 NBA championship rings playing with Magic Johnson. And I give him all the respect in the world for that. I said, but back in high school, we beat them both times. I said, he got his points, but I got to give him respect because he got 2 NBA rings with Magic Johnson. And that's all I said. I think I kind of forgot Norm was on the team a little bit. But that was pretty cool, being out in California and watching my granddaughter dance. As a matter of fact, she's going to be performing from December 14th to the 22nd in the Boston Urban Nutcracker. She's in the Nutcracker and she's going to be dancing in 4 scenes. So they're working very, very hard for that performance. So that's a good deal. She's in the Nutcracker and she's 8.5 years old. Wow. She's a pretty good dancer. I'm very proud of her. So thank you so much for asking. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I know that's something that's super important to you.
Well, that's definitely something that you can be proud of. Just like I'm proud of my daughter, actually, who graduated here from NHTI. She's one of the reasons why I'm here. She left a 4-year school and she came to NHTI. This is back in 2008, 2009 was her first year here. She played on the basketball team here. I'm proud of the fact that her name is on the wall downstairs. She's academic All-American for both basketball and volleyball, because they asked her to play volleyball here. And those teams back then here at NHTI, they were very successful. But the main reason I'm so proud of her is because she not only came here and obtained 2 associate's degrees, one in general studies and the other in nursing. She continued on and got her bachelor's degree at SNU, Southern New Hampshire University, and all while working, she continued on to school, and she's a nurse practitioner, psych nurse practitioner, and she works out of the Nashua area. So she's doing very well for herself, and she's also serving the community. And it all started here at NHTI. She played basketball at Regis College, which was a 4-year school, and she left there and came here, had a very successful basketball career and volleyball. And she, Dean's List, obviously academic All-American. As an athlete, that's not an easy feat to attain, but she did it, and I'm very proud of her, and I'm very appreciative of the opportunity that NHTI gave to her. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really passionate about this school and what this school has to offer to its students. I look at what it did for my daughter. That's why it's not difficult for me to talk with people about the success that they can have here at NHTI. I mean, look at the young man who's on a scholarship at Franklin Pierce right now. He's getting it. It's master's degree in business leadership. And see, when you live this close to a school that can provide an opportunity for you like that, why not take it into consideration? Why look at it as only a community college? This is a place that really, really offers great opportunity to young people who should want to save money. Because you save money by going here. You can go here first. Southern New Hampshire is you can go there later. You can go to UNH. You have an opportunity to come here and have some success in sports and athletics. But I guess everybody has to do what they feel is best for them for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. So you know, we have this whole career laid out, and you come to NHTI and start coaching. Something that you've said to me in the past is like, you don't have to do this, but you still do it. Tell the people, explain why you're coaching, even though that's not something that you need to do.
Because it's not about me. It's about what you can do for others and to help them to be the best that they can be. And, you know, sometimes people don't understand that. And it's just like when I was teaching at Dover High School, we started the Biz Ed Tech program that would help students to get started into their technical career. You know, I was an IT teacher at Dover High School, and they have a wonderful computer education program there right now. And the school, and last time I was in, as a matter of fact, that was last summer. I hadn't been in Dover for a long time, and when I walked in and I saw the beautiful school, especially the career technical education wing and area, it was the first time that I walked in and got to look at a program that I did a lot of the research for, a lot of the preparation and ordering of all the equipment that built that. I mean, I taught there for 10 years, and all of the research and everything that I was involved in, I never got a chance to teach in the classroom in the computer technology department that I helped build. When I first started teaching at Dover High School, I was in a loading area in the back where they stored equipment. It was literally junk in that room. Breeze was flowing through there. It was the back door again. It was where they would deliver things. I went out all across. I went to a computer store in Salem, New Hampshire. I got on the phone and I contacted a lot of stores that sold computers and computer parts. And I drove my car and picked up all of the old equipment that they were getting rid of. And I taught the students how to build working computers. I was able to put together plans to where we got those computers, we networked them. I had some pretty cool students as well that were really into it. And I wound up being able to set up a testing center at the school. I taught here at NHTI as a professor. I know that I connected NHTI with testout.com. I think they're still using it today. I would probably still be teaching here, but I wound up getting sick and I had major surgery. Things were touch and go, and I really feel blessed that I was able to make it. And that was back in 2018. And for me, it's a blessing being here doing what I'm doing with the young man here at the school and still being involved in basketball. Coach Paul Hogan, or Professor Hogan now, he gave me this opportunity to be a coach and coach here. And I'm just happy to be able to do this. And, you know, obviously we've had great success, but it's nice to be involved in a program that has been as successful as NHTI has. I have to give all the credit to Paul Hogan and all the wonderful things that he's done here, and I'm sure he'd probably turn around and give me credit as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But I have to say that, you know, you have to be a really good follower to become a great leader. And I always said to Paul, hey, I'm just going to do everything I possibly can to make sure that I can help you continue your success. And that's what I did. And I just focused on that. It's not about me. It's never been about me. It's about doing the job that you accepted and doing that job well. That's what it's about.
Thanks, Coach. Do you have anything else you want to add on?
Well, there's always a lot to add on, and there's always a lot to add to the story, or there's a lot of information that you can provide about your story. People don't always get everything, but maybe they can read between the lines. I mean, typically people want to know, but as far as adding, I have work to do. I took this job, and I'm going to do the best that I can in making sure that I represent the school well, and that I help these young men that I'm working with be the best that they can be.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you, and I commend you for everything that you're doing for the community. And as I said before, you're going to be very, very successful in what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.